On Friday, Williamsburg, Brooklyn seemed mostly back to normal. The power was on, pedestrians and cars were out on the streets, and businesses were open. But just across the Williamsburg Bridge, the Lower East Side and East Village were on their fourth day without electricity. Streets were mostly empty of people and vehicles. An eerie hush had settled over this usually bustling neighborhood. News of devastation in the waterside communities of Brooklyn, Queens, and Staten Island spread rapidly, but by Thursday, a less visible crisis was becoming apparent. Some elderly residents of high-rise public housing complexes were essentially trapped, lacking both elevators and the mobility to descend dozens of flights of stairs.
Well, since the power went out, in addition to handling emergency calls, we are also handling evacuations of elderly patients up in their apartments. So far, we've evacuated from here 40 people just to help go to other family members. We've done from 20 flights, as many as 20 flights down.
Stores were shuttered for lack of electricity, and many residents were running out of essentials. On Hester Street in Chinatown, the community group CAV took in donations, distributed them to needy locals, and organized canvassing groups to check on residents of high-rise buildings.
We're going to put together some assignments right now.
Chinatown and Lower East Side have been without power ever since the hurricane. A lot of buildings don't have water. We had residents come up to us and tell us, we live in public housing, no one has been coming by and knocking on our doors. There's tons of elderly residents who are stranded in their homes, who we're really worried about.
Across the East River, donations and volunteers coalesced in unusual places. Here at The Drink, a bar in Williamsburg, residents gathered to make sandwiches and collect clothing, blankets, and flashlights to send over the bridge.
This morning we made more than 1,000 sandwiches. We sent out 3 dozen bags worth of clothing, boxes of batteries and canned goods, all sorts of things. One of the destinations was a couple of buildings in Brighton Beach that had a lot of elderly people that were high rises. Most of this stuff here is going to be going to the Lower East Side.
By early evening, power had finally been restored to the Lower East Side, and signs of normal life began to show. For the Lower East Side community group Goles, however, the end of the blackout did not mean the end of the relief effort.
Recovery takes a while. We got a running list of people who volunteers came back and told us that, they were homebound, either blind or needed insulin. So we're going to do a lot of follow-up for those folks in the next few days.
For the Wall Street Journal, this is Bryan Quinn in New York.